What a week it's been, and thanks for everybody tuning in and hanging out and sounding off. It has been probably the most vibrant and interactive I've seen this program get in the past few years that I've been doing the mornings here on WMAY. We do broadcast. I mean, it's a live radio show. This is on the air in Central Illinois on 92.7 WMAY, WMAY.com, where you can listen live all throughout the day. It's not just this program. You've also got Brian Kilmeade from 9 to 11, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton from 11 to 2. You got the Dana Show from 2 to 4. Then Springfield's Afternoon News with Jim Leach at 4. 6 o'clock, you got Frank McNeil coming in with Springfield's Evening News and an entire lineup. But weekday mornings from 6 to 9 is right here in studio with myself. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to tune in. And listen, those of you who've been joining me on either YouTube streaming live or Facebook streaming live or even Twitter streaming live, I can't thank you enough for subscribing and taking part and commenting. And a lot of this has been focused the past few weeks on the gun ban that did ultimately pass and was enacted. So you guys have been coming to get some of the latest developments, and we will continue to follow those developments. And if you have yet to go back and look at some of the other interviews and analysis we've had throughout the past couple of weeks, I'd encourage you to go check that out and kind of watch the progression of how this gun ban ultimately came about. So we will be following it all throughout to the U.S. Supreme Court and even the Illinois Supreme Court when that ultimately comes about. So looking forward to helping you better understand where things are each and every weekday morning here on WMAY. But of course, at 8:13, it is Friday. It's the final day of the week, and I tell you, it's been like a meat grinder. It really has. And I had to work all last weekend because the legislature was in outside of the radio show. This is my part-time gig. Full-time, I cover the Illinois State House. So a lot of what I do there, I do bring back and unpack for all of you, which I think is extremely valuable. So I appreciate everybody tuning in and taking part in all this. But it's exhausting. There's no question about it. It is exhausting. They worked all last weekend and into this week. You had inauguration, you had the House and Senate taking a new session, and then you had the gun ban mixed in with all kinds of other legislation, which we will talk about in some more detail as the days and weeks progresses. But I'm looking forward to kicking back for a nice long weekend and honoring a civil rights icon, Martin Luther King Jr. You've got MLK Day on Monday. So we will have a best of in place of Springfield's morning news. So just a little bit of a heads up there. I'm going to open up the phone lines. We can talk about anything here. All right. It's kind of a talk radio faux pas to just say, hey, open phone lines. But you know what? I've worked my tail off this past few weeks, even months, and quite frankly, even before that, I worked my tail off. So I'm just going to open it up. You know, what do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Are you still talking about the gun ban, or do you want to delve into some of the national news that we've seen, including President Joe Biden in hot water now with classified documents being discovered in a garage with his Corvette? Did you guys see that Q&A that Peter Doocy had with the president? It's just mind-blowing. So you can talk about that. And I've got, one Twitter follower saying that he doesn't envy all the stories that are popping up at the same time. He says, one story I think is getting missed by everyone is our ability to track our classified documents. Biden had these records for at least 4 years while he wasn't in office. They didn't have any questions. Where's the accountability? So that's an interesting point that somebody makes. But before we do get to your calls, and I promise I will get to your calls here in a moment, I want to do something that's kind of fun in a meta type of way. I think last week I had a listener, Eric, ask if I could give his son, William, a birthday shout out on his birthday. And he actually recorded that moment. And so here's a moment in this wild thing we call life where it feels like I'm holding up a mirror to a camera so that you can see, like one of those infinity mirrors, right? So here's Eric recording his son William, listening to me wish William happy birthday live over the radio. This was a lot of fun. Cracks me up.
Being passed by the House and possibly signed later this week by Governor J.B. Pritzker. And you can expect that there's going to be lawsuits. But I want to hear from you at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News. Quick shout out, though. Wanted to send a special birthday message to a 9-year-old little man, William, celebrating that birthday today. So happy birthday, buddy. Thumbs up. Be sure to give your dad a big thumbs up and a thanks for that special birthday privilege. Thankfully, he didn't go out and spend any money on a cameo from former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich.
What's a cameo?
Hey, that's still a possibility, right? So, William, be sure to ask your dad for that. All right, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here. Let's go ahead and get to your phone calls and hear from you. Should the Illinois House pass this?
That's awesome. He didn't know what a cameo was, and the backstory there is that Eric actually got a cameo message from Rod Blagojevich for his birthday a couple of years ago, I think, where it was after Trump let Blagojevich out of prison. All right, so I just wanted to share that with you. It was one of those moments in life where it's like, I'm listening to somebody listening to me on the radio while others are listening to it on the radio. You can kind of, okay, anyways. Thanks for indulging me. Good morning. You're on WMAY. You are not Tom DeVore. You are a caller. What's up?
I think that was great, Greg. Way to go. That was awesome. Hey, I got 2 points here.
Sure.
I hear Jim whining all the time about how these sheriffs aren't going to enforce the law. Isn't there a law against illegal immigrants coming into this country?
There is, and the state of Illinois passed a measure that says that local law enforcement can't coordinate with federal law enforcement on immigration detainers, which is a lawful federal law.
So doesn't that make our governor a violator of the law?
Well, yeah, and the state legislature as well, because they passed that measure. I think it was called the Trust Act, if I recall.
Yeah, and then, but Jim Leach won't acknowledge that. Anyways, that's Jim's problem. Hey,
there's a double standard that I think, at some point people have to recognize. Listen, all the years I've been in media and tracking all kinds of stuff, the double standard across the board is just frustrating. Democrats do it, Republicans do it. Recognize there's a double standard.
It's terrible, but Jim and Frank need to know the definition of what AR-15 means, too. It's not assault rifle.
It's not assault rifle.
Look that up. They don't understand that. And my third point is, before I go home and shred my documents, because I'm a vice president on the school board, and mine's sitting by my motorcycle, I want to make sure I get rid of, the president can have classified documents. The vice president cannot.
Right.
I guess I should feel better knowing that mine are in a locked garage next to my motorcycle, and Joe's were in a locked garage next to his Corvette, which Jay Leno had access to, and whoever came in that garage had access to. But I don't have a lot of people coming into my garage, so I feel a little bit more secure about mine. And I'll make sure they're shredded.
Pretty wild. Hey, I appreciate the call. You're firing on all cylinders there. Thanks so much. And we'll get to another one here, 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hello?
You're on the air.
Hey, on your Saturday show, you used to have a woman on there named Rosa Corey.
Oh, yeah. She did the whole Agenda 21 stuff. And, gosh, I need to reach back out to her and see what her take is on things. If people aren't familiar with Agenda 21, it's an effort from globalists to try to get people into urbanized areas so that they can lock down their resources and control every aspect of their lives. And they infiltrate zoning and ordinances all across the country and around the globe, and it's an effort that's been going on for decades.
Well, the other day I was listening to Coast, and about 2 months ago, and they brought her name up.
Oh.
The guest said that she passed away a year ago.
No.
I thought you'd want to know that.
No, I didn't know that. That's devastating. She was a property attorney, a property rights attorney for decades, and she came into knowledge about Agenda 21 and how it was impacting property rights for people over in California. Oh man, that sucks. She was quite the resource.
I thought maybe you could check on it to verify, because I'm not on the internet.
Yeah, that's devastating. I appreciate you calling in. Thanks so much. Guys, got to take a break. I got full phone lines. We'll get to more of your calls, I promise, and maybe I'll also give you a little bit of behind the scenes of what's going on here at the radio station, because, listen, I'm a one-man show. All right, I'm switching cameras. I am taking callers. I plan my show every morning. I talk to the guests. I schedule my guests. I am a one-man show, so I'd love to kind of just show you all the screens I've got all over the place and how I've got these buttons and all that. So stay tuned. Much more coming up. It's 8:21 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash.